to night school where shadows creep. Grab your popcorn, don't fall asleep. The doors are open, let the nightmares play. You won't make it out today. Welcome to night school. The doors have reopened.
Ladies and gentlemen, everyone sit down. We're going to get right into it today, people. We have a full classroom, and we got a doozy of a topic to talk about today. I am Mr. Malave, a.k.a. Matthew Malave, the longest reigning defending Who You Got champion. Welcome to Night School Horror, everyone. We're going to start with our attendance and just say present. When I call your name, we'll start alphabetical order. We're talking to Mr. Big Money Eddie, the Grand Wizard of Horror. Are you here?
Cigarette smoking man present, sir.
All right, thanks. Well, you know what? No cigarettes in class. Save that for later. Next on the attendance board, we have none other than the smooth effect himself, the movie guy, baby. We're talking about Tommy James. Are you here?
Oh, movie guy baby is here, sir. Present.
All right, then. You know what? You sound great, and you sound like you some Mississippi. I hope you don't have a hood. Next, we have Florida's favorite creep, Sabrina Ace. Are you here?
I'm present and creeped out.
All right. Well, you know what? You're always creeped out, so there's nothing new there. So I can't wait to hear what's creeping you out tonight. But we have a special guest here tonight. He saw what we're talking about today, and he basically bars the door open. I'm talking about 1/3 of the Holy Trinity of second rounds on us. I am talking about none other than Mr. 8-Town Ryan. Are you here?
Yes, I am present and accounted for, and I wasn't forced to be here. This is my first voluntary admission to class. So this is going to be fun.
Good. That's good. Most of the time I had to get forced to go to school. So I'm glad you're here. I know you have a lot to say about what we're talking about today. So we have a lot to discuss, and I'm just going to go right into it. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are discussing the movie that is sweeping all the critics and all of our hearts. We're talking about Sinners. And yes, it's a Ryan Coogler directed film, starring Michael B. Jordan, Haley Steinfeld, and a bunch of other great actors. Yeah,
Stein.
there you go. What?
Stein. You said Stein.
What? Okay, dude. Like, you want to get out? Like, you don't have to correct me.
I'm just saying.
That's one.
Get her name
That's
right.
One.
It's not it's Steinfeld.
Haley Steinfeld.
Like
yes, we know. Josh Hart's fiance. Okay.
Steen.
Not Josh Hart. Wow, sorry. Josh Allen. Sorry, guys.
Wow.
I'm caught up with the Knicks, and I'm hyped.
She's dating Josh Allen. Or well,
Josh Hart.
Josh Hart. Don't worry about that.
It's Josh. She's engaged to Josh Allen.
She's engaged to
didn't
Josh
know?
Allen.
No, I didn't know that.
Right before he won MVP.
Oh, good for him.
Before he won MVP, they got engaged.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for
I
him.
don't know how long that's going to go after this movie, but yeah, we'll get it.
Well, he supports her. I saw videos. But anyway, let's get back to it. The movie is scored a whopping 98% in Rotten Tomatoes, and an 8.2 in IMDb, and 97 on Fandango. I don't even know why we even said that. But this movie is a period piece. It takes place in 1932. What's so funny?
Just hating on Fandango.
Yeah.
like, how do you think we got our tickets, dude? Like, damn,
I don't even know why we're mentioning that.
I get them straight from the Regal app, so I don't care about Fandango.
Still, it's just like it's a weird attack. It's fine.
It's okay.
They know what
It's
they
all right.
did.
You know what? They know what they did to me back in the day, and
They know what they did.
and I can't forgive them. Okay, I cannot forgive them. But this movie is a period piece. It's taking place in Mississippi. And it's about a lot of stuff, but mostly about some vampires. And we all know on Night School Horror, we love us some vampires. So we've all seen this, and I'm pretty sure we've all seen multiple times. Because this movie, I believe we all kind of like really enjoyed. So I'm gonna go around the class, and I want you guys to just give me your first initial reactions to the movie, what you liked about it. We'll get into a deeper dive with all the characters and all the themes and the fucking music. But I'll tell you straight up, this movie for me was amazing. I felt the music carried a lot of the themes, and it drove the movie. In my opinion, and the blood and the visuals and the way it was shot and just every single dialogue mattered. I really thoroughly enjoyed this movie to the point where I've seen it multiple times already, and I will continue to own it, and then continue to watch it and spread the good word that is Sinners, which we all are. But I'm gonna bring it out to the peanut gallery, and I'm gonna go straight with Florida's favorite creep. And I'm gonna go Sabrina. Tell us a little bit about what you like or don't like about Sinners.
Contrary to the rest of Night School Horror, I'm not a big fan of vampire movies. Just hasn't been. Y'all know this. Talked about it in former episodes, but I loved this movie. This is a vampire movie I could get behind. It's more like 3 stories in one, which I truly appreciated. The main focus wasn't just vampires. It was a huge part of it, but it was a part that drove the other 2 stories, which again, truly, truly appreciated about this.
I agree with you. What about vampire movies that you don't really like that you felt the aspects of the vampire movie in this one that you did like?
So other vampire movies typically go like, oh, the vampires are sexy route. That's how they lure in everybody. And like, no shame in that. But I've seen it a million fucking times. This is pure terror. This is terrorizing a whole group of people on multiple levels. But specifically with the vampires, they're not trying to lure them out by being sexy or appealing. They're more like trying to win them over by community. And that's so different to me that I loved.
Right. Yeah, I have to agree with you on that too as well. Let's go all the way to our guest. Let's go to Mr. A-Town Ryan. Tell us what you liked about Sinners.
Oh, almost every aspect. And the same, again, Sabrina, you took a lot of my answers. This is many movies in one. The first half of this movie alone, I could just watch just in that setting alone. That I know we'll get into it. Just the first half alone, I could live in that movie. But also, like you said, I love vampire movies. I've seen almost every type of iteration of vampires. The way it's used here, like you said, with community, it's used as a form of assimilation, which we'll get into the deeper themes, where even as a watcher, you know they're evil, but man, they were making some good points where I was like, when that dance happened outside, I keep saying, I'd have been tempted to go out there just on what they were selling, even though like we know the truth, just what they were selling on that. But again, the performances, one in particular, or 2 in particular, we'll get to where I'll make my heartbreaking confession, but we'll get into that. But when I say I've seen it twice already, I'm going to see it again. Just not only the implications of the movie in the movie itself, but on a broader scale of how impactful this movie is. Only 2 other times, I guess, in my lifetime I've seen, well, no, many other times I will say, but in recent years, there are 2 other examples where it's had this much of an impact on across the board people. I'll just say real quick, Get Out and the first Black Panther. Where it's on,
and one of them was directed by Coogler.
And was Coogler, because Coogler doesn't miss. Not at all. He doesn't miss. The only time he sort of missed was something out of his control, like with Wakanda Forever, where he had to do damage control based on whatever he originally, and that's just a force of nature, so there's nothing you can do about it. But this man doesn't miss. That's all I'm gonna say. We're gonna keep it moving, but there's so much to talk about.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Coogler does not miss. I mean, he has 5 movies and they're all certified fresh. I think, like you said, Wakanda Forever was like an 85. Everything else was in the 90s. So yes, Coogler does not miss. And I love the other 2 that you said had that so much of an impact on, culture and a whole bunch of other things. I'm gonna go to Big Money Eddie right now, and I'm gonna ask you, what do you think of Sinners?
I'm conflicted about this movie.
Really?
I'll tell you why. Yeah, I'm conflicted. because if it's a if it's a B movie homage with clever themes and thoughtful themes, I love it. But a lot of people have thrown out there the word masterpiece, and nobody has done it here, thankfully. But call it those are big words, and when we use that, when I've heard that word, then I put on some other hats on, and to me, what doesn't work, and this is if I could stay in that first half of that movie, I'm pretty sure I'd be calling this movie a masterpiece
Hmm.
because that first half of the movie just sold me, got me, and I went like, I need to see the end of this movie. Just like as Alex was saying, I need to see the end of this movie. What didn't work for me was the transition into vampire territory, and not because I don't like vampires. I love vampires. I think that the themes that were already playing in the first half became too on the nose with the metaphors and allegories in the second half, and I thought the first half was playing it much better, at least for me. So again, if it's just B movie homage, I loved it. If we're talking now serious cinema stuff, I'm conflicted. I wouldn't say I hated it either. I think it was a really well made movie, but that script, man, that script got me a little bit torn.
Wow. Okay. So we have conflicting ideas here. So I love that. We're gonna get into that second half of the movie, and I definitely want to hear your opinions on why you think those themes kind of just like, I don't know. And when your term, you said didn't say fall flat, but it's kind of alluding, like I'm alluding to it, that you feel like it fell flat, or it just kind of just didn't further along those themes. So I'm curious to hear what you have to say about that, and we would definitely get into it. And now, lastly, it's the movie guy, baby. What do you think about your favorite actor, Michael B. Jordan, in Sinners, and what do you think about the movie?
Listen, Mr. Malave. Everybody that knows me, everybody that's known me for as long as you have, knows I'm a fan of Mr. Michael B. Jordan. When I go and watch movies and I go on my letterbox and I give it stars, I always give an extra star and a half if Michael B. Jordan is in the movie. So before even seeing the movie already starts with a star and a half because he's in it.
Nice.
He's in it
Nice.
2
Oh my
times.
God.
Now it's 3 stars, okay? That's three stars, automatic Michael B. Jordan stars. I call them the MBJ stars, okay? Listen,
Oh, fuck you.
I will tell you facts. I really enjoyed this movie. Okay, I had a lot of fun with it. I saw it twice, and it is. I agree with Eddie. I don't think it's a masterpiece. I do feel that there's 2 things about the movie that I personally would have changed. But it's enjoyable. Like you guys were mentioning, the music really takes its toll. It really pushes through the concept of the dancing with the devil and how music and the devil goes together. It's so intelligent and so creative. And then we get into the vampire thing. And to me, that's just fun. I'm having a good old fashioned time with the vampire stuff. But I also agree with Mr. A-Town, and I agree with Big Money. That beginning, that first half of that movie, I want to see more of that one. I want to see some gangster film with
they want a prequel with the twins. They're like,
I want it.
But I mean, it's not going to happen. But they were like, they would love to see how their lives were in Chicago.
Yes.
Based on what you saw with here.
They were working with Capone. Who the fuck wouldn't want to see that? That sounds fucking awesome. Like, yeah, I had a really great time. Again, there's a couple things I would change myself. I wouldn't say it's a masterpiece, but again, you start with 3 stars. You're starting with 3 stars because you got 2 MBJs in this shit. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's a good old fashioned time.
Yeah, I mean, what's better than 1 MBJ is 2 MBJs.
You can have 2 J's. Yeah, that's great. It's fantastic.
Or two BJs. That's
2
great.
BJs. Actually, we didn't see no BJs in this movie. That was the last one.
No, you know what? We didn't, but we saw some humping. You know, we did definitely see some humping
And some eating.
So I mean, yeah, and
a lot of eating.
Lots of eating and lots of blood, which we all know. We all love blood here at Night School Horror. But I want to stick with the characters actually, because we all know the setting is amazing. Mississippi in 1932 is post World War One. We got Jim Crow all involved in Mississippi, where there's segregation and everything else. And I know Big Money can get into that lore a little bit later and the history of it a little bit later that intertwines with this movie. But let's get deep. Let's dive deep into the characters. And I want to start with Mr. Michael B. Jordan himself, who plays two people. He plays the twin brothers, Stack and Smoke. And like you said, they worked in Chicago and Al Capone. They were in World War One, and they decided to come back to Mississippi and open up juke bar and
Juke joint.
Juke joint. Sorry, juke joint. Don't yell at me, all right? Juke joint. And yeah, just off of that alone, and we've seen people play the same characters in a twin here and there, but never quite like this. I want to go back to Mr. Tommy James because he loves him some Michael B. Jordan. What do you think? Or how did you think Michael B. Jordan did playing two different people? And did he nail it, or did you were just like, well, that's still just Michael B. Jordan?
That's a good question, Mr. Malave, actually. And I had to think about that as you were even saying it. So, like you said, we've seen multiple people play twins before. Now, playing twins, twins are supposed to be different. Okay, but they got to be similar at the same time. But you should be able to tell them apart, and not just because of facial hair. I feel that Michael B. Jordan did a very good job, not a great job, did a very good job playing two different characters or two different versions of himself. They did seem pretty similar in a sense. The standouts were they had kind of different personalities. Stack had the gold teeth, like on the one side he had the golden tooth. Smoke was a little more business, more mean, and Stack was, though still kind of a dick, still had more of a heart, I would say. But then you kind of get to that other part with the baby and stuff with Smoke. So you see he's a broken man. But what I say this was like, oh, this is Oscar worthy Michael B. Jordan. No, but it's also that kind of a movie where he doesn't need to be Oscar worthy Michael B. Jordan. I think he did a very good job to playing twins. The main thing is when you see them together on screen, do you get that feel that they're twins, or is it, like you said, is that just Michael B. Jordan there twice? And sometimes I felt like it. And then sometimes I was like, no, that's just Michael B. Jordan standing there twice. No problems. Of course, I am cool with it. Before Michael B. Jordan's, and I'd be fine with that. But yeah, I do think he did a very good job. I don't think he did a great job of really separating the twins. Then when obviously one turns into a vampire, it's a completely different ballgame at that point. I mean, the guy literally ends like Kid and Play. So, we'll see where that goes from there. But again, good job.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we like a little backstory. Coogler actually used this thing called the crown, which is a bunch of cameras that goes around the face and around the crown of the head. And Michael B. Jordan used that to kind of do the different mannerisms of Smoke and Stack separately. And that helped with the digital and all the editing as far as having them both on screen and having them kind of be different. I'm gonna open it up to I guess Mr. A-Town Ryan. What do you feel about Michael B. Jordan, man? I know you've been hating on this guy for so long. I want to know what you think of Michael B. Jordan in this movie.
All right, as you know, we have been doing this podcasting game since 2016. No, I don't know. Wait, 2016, right?
I'm gonna raise your levels real quick. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, you fucker. We've been doing this podcasting game for a while, and since the very inception of us doing this, I have hated on Michael B. Jordan. We have it on record. We have text messages. We've had instances where this man just shows up in everywhere. And Mr. Tommy James, movie guy, he loves him. And I hated his love of him with a passion. Watching this movie, and it hurt to say it, because even though he says he didn't do a great job, I think he did an amazing job, and it hurts to say that he is one of our top actors of this generation. Michael B. Jordan has the goods, and this is why I'll say so. Not even the fact that he's playing two characters. The reason why I think he did a very good job is because, remember, he's playing two characters that have to interact with other characters. Meaning, based on his performances, for example, with Mary or with Annie or with why didn't his name just escape me. The cousin. Someone give me the cousin's name. I don't know why his name is
Sammy.
with Sammy, with everyone else. He has to be these distinct two people with everyone. So this man has to do double the work with every interaction, that he has to know who he is and who he's talking to at any given time, even against opposite love interests. And he pulled that off where I didn't have to see it's the same person. I knew when Smoke was there, and you know when Stack was there. So it wasn't just them playing off each other, but playing off opposite with the other characters. And he pulled that off, where you could, at the very least, you can't say, well, I can tell it's the same guy. No, you know, based on things. Even when they took, what I liked also is when they made them go their separate ways, so that they each had their own adventures before they met up at the June, which I thought was an amazing thing, because now you see their thing, them in the truck, where he's hearing, Stack is hearing Sammy play for the first time, and that leads all the way to the end, that connection with the music. And then when Smoke first hears Sammy plays, and he's looking at Stack, and Stack's like, I told you. Like, you forget like those subtle things to let you know these are two distinct characters. And Michael B. Jordan, I think, did an amazing job. And it hurts that I have to give this man so much praise. And I hope I never have to do it again. But at the rate he's going, it's probably going to happen. And he will get nominated. Whether he wins or not, that's saying something based on what comes down the pipeline. But he is getting nominated for this role. That's happening.
Ooh, that's a deep take, and I love that. Look, you heard it here first on Night School Horror. Mr. A-Town Ryan is finally on the Michael B. Jordan wave.
Fuck you.
And it took another Ryan Coogler movie.
Eddie, you're cool. Sabrina, you're all right. But more fuck you, Tom.
Well, let's go to Sabrina, Florida's favorite creep. Michael B. Jordan, what you think?
I have to agree with Tommy in some sense that for the most part, you can tell that it's him playing two different characters. They have those distinct character moments with other characters that they don't have together necessarily. But I feel like towards the end is where I kind of lost it. And I'm like, which one am I following here? Until you finally see the ending, and like, I'm not jumping ahead as far as plot, but it's not a Michael B. Jordan movie until he's in a dirty ass tank top carrying a gun. And we get that. So at that point, I mean, of course, it's Michael B. Jordan.
I did
That's
too.
Like my celebrity husband. He just doesn't know it yet. But
he knows that I am, though.
I officiated the wedding.
Yeah. But
I was the ring bearer.
It's that fact of like,
oh my God.
You could see back and forth the character dynamics that they have with separate characters, but when they're together on screen, it's me trying to remember which sibling was wearing which color to determine which one they were. And I shouldn't have to do that for their characters to be both on screen. When they're separate, you could tell which character he's playing, but together it kind of falls short for me.
Okay. All right. No doubt. Big money.
I agree across the board with what everybody's saying. Highest of high praises for Michael B. Jordan in this performance. What I would agree with Tommy is that the distinction between the twins is not perfect. He does a good job, but it's not perfect. But the swagger that he brings, because it's the layers of complexity that he's bringing to the character that to me work on a different level. To me, Michael B. Jordan is one of the few current genre actors. We don't have a lot of them anymore. We used to have a lot back in the day, like the Vincent Price types. Like when you see a genre movie and you see Michael Jordan is in it, you get excited because there is going to be something. He goes on different genres, but I just like the fact that he's made a name for himself in different spaces. I really enjoy him. The one thing I would say is that because he's at a level 100. Like if we're using video game analogy, he's at a level 100. Veteran. Both of these characters are veterans of World War I. They were in Chicago with Al Capone. Surviving in the South, Jim Crow. Like those three things, any one of those three things makes you a badass. Putting them together, like that is one lethal motherfucker. And in the movie, you can see that he does not play around, especially at the end when you see why people were so scared of him, because you kind of have hints of the ruthlessness that he has, especially when they try to remove some of his hooch. But it's I did it on purpose.
Oh my God, yo, he shot him in the fucking ass.
Yeah,
Yo.
yeah, yeah. I loved it. I love that. Like that character. I want to see more of that character, whichever of the two, but in that real basis. Like I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
He shot him in the ass.
Shot him in the ass. I mean, and that's funny, right? Like, there's some very funny parts in this movie, especially when they're just kind of like bouncing off of each other. We had some comic reliefs. Like, it was well entertained, right? I want to talk about some of the other male actors in this movie. We have Delroy Lindo, who played Delta Slim. We have Sammy, of course, Miles Canton. We have Buddy Guy, who's a real blues artist that played old Sammy at the end.
Do you know? Also, real quick thing about Buddy Guy. Guess who his daughter is?
Who?
Shauna from DTP.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
I did not know that. That's kind of crazy.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Wow.
yeah.
That's a fun fact.
That's very fun fact.
She wanna lick you to your head to your toe. Oh.
Aha.
And I wanna, but yeah, we have also Jack O'Connell, who played Remick, our antagonist. And then we have Chanton as well too, who played one of the store clerks. So out of all of these other, and of course, how can I forget Amar Benson Miller, who played Cornbread. Out of all of these other male actors, I want to open it up to you guys. Who do you think stole the show?
Oh, come on.
Yeah, who do you think actually like stole the show in this film? And if you said, "Oh, come on," I'm going to you first, Mr. A-Town Ryan. And I feel like I have the answer, but what is it?
All right, let's get it. All of them were amazing in their respective roles. All of them gave it 110%. But come on, man. Miles Cotton, Sammy, boy, he is the protagonist of this story. He is the main character. Michael B. Jordan is there, but this is Miles Cotton's story. From the opening scene of it explaining about the music, we knew who this movie was about. And again, this is his first acting role ever, period, hands down. When I say if Michael B. Jordan gets nominated, he's getting nominated. And again, this is early. This is still fresh off. This is his first role. And the performance he gave, not only will he get nominated, again, depends on what, it's still early in award season based on when this come around, but usually award season ends, in December, where movies can qualify. I don't see anything down the pipeline. Odyssey doesn't come out this year, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't, right?
It doesn't. No. It's actually in production. I don't even think
all
it
right,
started.
So again, unless something comes out real, like, think this boy's gonna win. I think he's gonna win. Supporting, my bad. Let me say,
yeah.
For supporting, because the performance he gave, you felt everything he felt. Again, that scene, which we'll get into, I have goosebumps talking about it. But my boy stole this movie as his own. Again, all the male characters did their thing, but Miles Catton, aka Sammy, come on, man. We were him. We were in his shoes.
Yes.
In this world. And I got goosebumps. Yeah, and he first learned to play the blues, play this genre for this movie. Taught himself. A
little bit more about Miles Catton. Before, this is his first movie role, but before this, he's on tour with her. He's done background. He's done openings for her shows. And it was actually her who encouraged him to audition for this movie. So shout out to her. She's an amazing artist. And yeah, Miles Catton has some musical ability, and that, along with his acting prowess, now landed him this role. So Miles Catton, shout out to you. That was a good pick. Anyone like Tommy? What do you think? Who out of the male actors, who else stole the show?
Okay, so obviously, I would definitely say that it was Miles Catton. Like, he was amazing in this, but because Mr. A-Town picked him, I'm not going to just go ahead and pick him myself. So I'm going to go with my man Delroy Lindo. I love Delroy. I've always loved Delroy. Every time he's in something, I'm like, ooh, and I always forget his name too. I'm like, ooh, that guy's in this. It's gonna be good.
Oh, yeah, it's the guy.
It's the guy. I'm not gonna say what I normally say. I'll say it. It's that black guy. He's awesome. I love that black guy. He's great. Because I always forget his name. I always forget his name, but I really do. I really love him. Because he really is an amazing actor, and the way that he portrays Delta Slim is just hilarious, but real. And I appreciate that too. That he is kind of, well, not even kind of. He is the comedic part of this movie, but there's heart to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's real heart to him. Even like that one scene where him and Sammy and Stack are driving, and he sees the prisoners, and when he gets hold your head high, like, and you could see
came
it,
out
like,
of nowhere.
Yeah, it did. It was like it completely came out of nowhere, and it triggered him. And then he's able to go ahead and tell a little story. And that's where you get like that feel for him. Even his, and you know, I'm jumping a little ahead, but his demise, that's a hero's demise, you know, and you need that for some characters. Somebody that's like, and he said it, like, if you listen, I've seen the devil's come for me before. If you think you're gonna get him, you're going through me first. That's a badass line right there. That's a badass fucking line. And Delroy Lindo fucking nails that shit. When I hate that part when he has to slice himself, but he took it like a fucking champ. Let's go. Come on, motherfucker. Like, he ain't surviving. But it's the whole point of, I'm going to be the guy that does this for you because I want to see you succeed and I want to see you live on. So, Delroy Lindo, you are the fucking man. Now I truly can remember your name. So you won't be, that's that guy again. Like, no, it's Delroy Lindo. He's the fucking best.
Delroy motherfucking Lindo.
Delroy motherfucking Lindo. Delta Slim.
Delta Slim. I have to agree with you, Mr. A-Town. Sorry, Mr. Smooth.
No, I'm the white guy.
I think, the white guy. I have to agree with you. I think Slim's character, Delroy, kind of played it perfectly. And that scene that you mentioned when he's telling the story about his boy and he got lynched by the KKK over some lie and then got his balls chopped off. It was such a powerful scene, but you could tell there are many layers to this drunken musician and all the heartache and all the pain and just all and just now him just living not at peace, but living, contemporary, just singing his blues, playing his music, and drinking his booze. And he said it perfectly. And in that scene itself, when he's saying that story and you hear all the lynching and the choking in the background, and you're like, oh my God, if this scene cannot get even more powerful than it did, it just did. You know what I mean? And that was my opinion when I was watching this movie. I'm like, do you hear that in the background? Like, that's so powerful. It almost gave me chills because not only is he saying the story so genuinely with so much pain and power, but you also hearing it in the background just kind of makes it even more creepier, even more scary, and more real. And for that, I feel like Slim kind of just stole the show in this movie, just being that complex character who had that hero's demise that kind of came full circle. And I thought that was amazing. I'm going to go to Sabrina Ace out of the male actors in this movie, not named Michael B. Jordan. Who you think stole the show? And if it was the two that we just said, just say a little bit why.
So of course, I'm going to agree with everyone because every character seemed to have their moment in this. And this movie did such a good job of making you care about every character to some degree that even just we listen to all the different stories of the male characters aside from just our main guys here. And of course, like Miles Kent, he gets his flowers. Delroy Lindo, he gets his flowers. Everyone seems to be able to grasp a little bit of these characters and where they're coming from and where they are in that moment. So they all didn't just have to be forefront. All of them deserve that recognition. But I will say the one that stood out to me, besides those we've already mentioned, was Omar Benson Miller as Cornbread. Specifically because the way he goes out, his family was not there. And he's got a family back. So it was this huge moment for me thinking, wow, his family's not going to know what happened to him until much, much later. And it really impacted me. Yeah. Because we see the other characters, who was it? Chayton and his wife that ran the shops.
The shop.
They were there together. Yeah, they were there together, specifically trying to save their daughter from experiencing this. But she already knew he went out. The mom's completely going out. She's gonna be gone. Like, it's that fact of, okay, that family already knows their fate from what's happening there, and Cornbread's family is just left in the dark. He has a pregnant
With
wife
no
that's not gonna
body.
know anything. No body, no nothing.
Yep.
So it really impacted me, just his interactions with everybody. And also the funny moment that they shared where he's trying to, I think
Get back in.
yeah, Smoke trying to convince him to, like,
Coming in-
come
you
to
be
the
coming
juke
in and
joint.
out of here
And
all
he's
night.
just like, "Listen, like, I've got a wife, you need to respect her," while they're out in the field saying, "You need to respect her." And she chimes in and goes, "Well, how much money?" And he goes, "You got a good woman." It's like
He is
he's
the
speaking
plug-in
facts.
comic relief. For
It's
real.
like,
Yeah.
you're gonna make so much money. She gonna fuck you like she's never fucked you
Yeah.
before.
She might
She
even
even
let
give
you
you
put it in her
something-
mouth.
Yeah.
And he's just like, "Hey, respect her. She's right there." And she goes, "Well,
And
how
she's
much
like,
money?"
Hold up
Like,
now.
I love that interaction. So, like, his death really impacted me in the way of, like, his family's not gonna know what happened, and that hurt.
Yeah.
So I gotta give him his flowers.
Cornbread, man. Give Cornbread his flowers. He was that dialogue is epic. There's even like skits and everything over on TikTok and everywhere else, just kind of recreating that scene and just like you've been walking in and out of here all
Yeah.
day, boy. Like you don't need
And you didn't need an invite.
Yeah, it's just like, come on now. You're acting real strange. So
Wait, real quick.
yeah.
Did you see the one they did for 8 Mile?
What?
No, I didn't.
So
he was just
basically,
like, it's 6 in
no.
the morning, dog.
No, it's basically like they're on the other side, so they show him outside. It's animated, and he's like, "I'm the freaking freaky, the run, the ring, ticky, 10 freaky girls," and it's him and the bunch of singing from his rap from 8 Mile, 10 freaky girls and all the ticky. Yo, I had me cry.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Oh man.
That is pretty good. Well, shout out to Cornbread. Sorry you left us so soon, but you did play a really cool vampire, especially that jump scare when
Yeah.
when he pulled his hand out, he almost tried to bite Michael B. Jordan. And I know Mr. Oh So Smooth almost jumped out of his seat and punched him in the face because you don't touch his Michael B. Jordan.
No, I was about to break the television. I was gonna be like, "Don't you touch him, you fat fuck! Like, don't you dare!" Like, I was angry. I was really mad.
You still got the other one. It's okay.
Well, that's true. There are two of them for me. That's all right. You can take one.
Okay.
No, the other
Fair.
one's Haley's. So
Oh, I'll fight her.
all right. Well, I'm going to the Grand Wizard of Horror. I'm going to Big Money Eddie. Is there any other the male actors in this movie that stood out to you in this film that stole the show?
You know what? Standouts? No, because everybody's taken the ones I would have picked.
Really?
Yeah.
That you want.
You're not gonna
I
take
don't.
Remy? I thought you would just take Remy.
Oh no! You know,
He
I
doesn't have to take it if he doesn't want to.
nah. I'm gonna say Delroy Lindo is like that's the type of character I usually gravitate towards anyway in a movie. So whenever I see a movie, I see a character like that. That's usually my favorite character anyway. And if he was my favorite character in the movie, but that's because of how my brain operates and what I enjoy. I enjoy heroic sacrifices. I enjoy people who overcome adversity. Like all of that just works for me on different levels. What I would say also about that scene in the car, on top of all the historical and social commentary that's also happening, you know, that's why that motherfucker drinks. You know,
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
that's you know,
1,000%.
a lot, and you know, going into like some broader themes, sometimes it's like sometimes we judge people for their addictions or behaviors and things like that. You don't know where it's coming from.
Mhm.
There's a whole background story. Like if you did what or had to experience what he experienced, would you have ended up an alcoholic? Maybe. You probably would have ended up in an insane asylum, and or you would have been useless because you would have just been so traumatized and catatonic that you wouldn't have functioned. He just decided to grab booze and sing and get some money along the way because he went like, "Yep, this is as good as it's gonna get for me," and that type of that level that layers to characters like that I enjoy a lot. Cornbread, I would also say, and this is just me, I think the cornbread scene with the vampires is the only great vampire scene that we have in the movie, just for me. I others would say that we'll talk about the Irish dancing later, but but in terms of just like vampire scene, like it was creepy. It worked on different levels, and I enjoyed it. So yeah, and of course, Sammy, I agree with Alex. I don't necessarily. I know they're probably going to nominate Michael B. Jordan, but I really am hoping they nominate Miles because he deserves like all. It is actually I gravitate towards characters like Delroy's, but as soon as I finished the movie, I was like, oh no, that Miles kid is getting the nomination instead of Delroy Lindo. So yeah.
I mean, on top of like that, he's definitely going to get a lot more roles after this movie. I also got to just give the flowers to the antagonist himself. I'm Jack O'Connell, Remick. He definitely had some layers within him as well. And Coogler does this thing in a lot of his movies where you kind of feel for the antagonist, and not necessarily be on his side, but you can't help but watch this movie. Like, he does have some crazy good points. It
was killing me to agree. Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the things that, I realized about him, he was pro equality because the Irish people were enslaved too. And he just wanted to use the black people for labor for a bigger cause, which is also kind of wrong too. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like the theme of slavery going back to it too, just as a vampire. So it definitely gives a seesaw effect with his character, and on top of him being fucking hilarious and a pretty good singer. So shout out to Jack O'Connell and Remick. And I'm sure we're gonna keep talking about him and everything he did and what was trying to do in this movie. But I want to give the women in this movie some flowers right now. We got Lin Jun Lin playing Grace. We got Wimney Masaku playing Annie. We got, of course, Haley Steinfeld playing Mary. And we have Perline, Jamie Lawson, who is drop dead gorgeous in this movie. And we got some really great actresses too. I want to talk to Mr. Smooth Effect about the actresses and which one who kind of stole the show or kind of could have done better. Because I know a lot of people are talking about Haley in this movie more than all the other ones. So, Mr. Smooth Effect, what do you think about the actresses?
So I thought everybody did a really good job. My favorite is Annie. Love her. Fucking love her. She's such. Absolutely. I was with her all the way.
Who else is thinking Annie is the best actress in this movie?
Me.
For sure.
Planks? Yeah. I think that's all around there.
Big, beautiful voodoo queen.
Yeah. She was.
Cheers to Annie.
Amazing. I was so for titties. I was all for her. And then we even got a sex scene with her, so that was pretty cool. And I was sitting there like, oh, this is happening. This is happening. Cool. I like it. But like you mentioned, Mr. Malaves,
yes,
maybe there was somebody out there that didn't do that great of a job. Now, here's the thing. I wouldn't say somebody out there didn't do that great of a job. I believe that Haley Steinfeld was very good in this movie, but I truly believe anybody could have played that role. That role to me did not stand out. She is a catalyst role, Miss Malava. We were talking about this, and you used that terminology. I'm going to give the props where props deserve. I didn't say that. You did. She is a catalyst character, but anybody could have played that role. I don't believe that Haley Steinfeld was like, oh my God, she was so great in this movie. Like, she was fine in this movie. She looks great in this movie. Absolutely. She's gorgeous. But you could have probably stuck somebody else there, and I wouldn't have known the difference. I would have been like, she's nailing it. She's doing a great job. She's just there, like you said, Mr. Balabi. She's a catalyst, and that's fine. So I feel like that role could have been given to anybody. It doesn't matter that it was her. If a lot of people are praising her for the role, I don't know where you're seeing that, but to me, she just kind of played just a white. Well, she's not what they even said. Like, she's not all white. Like
She's
the,
mixed.
like 116.
Yeah,
or something.
116.
Yeah.
And
So
at that time, that's all you needed to get messed with.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
so yeah,
Plessy versus
1000%.
Ferguson. That's how it started. So yeah.
1,000%.
Yeah, so
but
I'm
again, I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm just saying that I believe that you didn't have to be her. So for her to get all this praise, show me where.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I'm gonna go to Alex because he
Yeah.
looks like he has something to say.
Yeah.
His hand rate. What's up? What do you have to say about what?
So
Tommy
yeah,
did?
so we agree with the best. I like the point he made with Haley with the as not living up to par, mainly because also the first half of this movie, she's good. She did the most in the first half of the movie. That was where she shined. The reason why she's getting the praise is because of how shocking she was able to step up to this level
Yes.
compared to everyone else. That at the very least, she was able to bring herself to everyone else's level. As she kept up with everyone. Again, the stuck your tongue in my coos and fucked me so hard has been going viral all over the place because it's like, whoa.
Yep.
Yeah.
girl.
We
But
would never
that
think
doesn't
that actor would
deserve
say it.
praise. I don't think because you can say a
in
line like
terms-
that, like, wow, she really stepped it up. She said a fucking dirty line. Like that
It's
doesn't
just
to me.
viral for her because you don't see that on her as a
Sure,
character
sure,
anywhere else.
understandable,
So, like,
understandable.
That's what it
It's
is.
just
Understand.
viral.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying as a point of because it's her that our expectations wasn't that high to begin with.
Oh, sure.
I think that maybe the 116th heritage maybe gave her a edge, like, oh, like Coogler, like, oh shit, for because that is really based on her actual lineage. She is 116. Like I think her grandmother was half black. So it's like, okay. So I think that helped to get the role, but it is also the shock of she's never done anything like this in her entire career.
Yeah.
So and that's it. But again, that's only for the first half. Once
Right.
she gets bit, she becomes kind of boring.
Agreed.
Generic.
Well,
Generic.
Generic. Where
Well,
even
she
in the end, when you see, it's like, oh, she's there. She says she just has a look. We'll talk about that end quick because she looks
Yeah.
like a certain actress. Where I was
Yeah.
like, is that
Yeah.
what? Okay, all right, so good. I wasn't the only one I was like,
No.
is that what I think? But yeah, so that's why
Well,
Tom,
I mean,
you brought that up because I was
we
gonna bring
can-
it up too.
We could go in now. What
Yeah.
actress does she look like?
What's her name? She was Vicky Valancourt. Damn, that. I
yes,
know
from The
her
Craft.
name.
The girl from The Craft.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, she has a very weird name.
Yes.
Yeah. I forget her
but-
name too. But yeah, I
But
mean,
that's-
yes.
When she came with the lottie, I was like, is that what? No, okay, but I could see. Yeah.
So I mean, I feel like I agree with both of you guys, and with Haley, I feel like it's one is that Haley, the dialogue that she delivers and how she delivers it, and it's basically is all right. We all know Annie is the GOAT, but everyone is still caught up on the freaky shit that Mary pulled. Whether it's saying that line that you stuck your tongue in my cooch and then fucked me so hard, and on top of
Spit
her
in my
the
mouth.
sex scene, and then
Yeah.
spit in her mouth in Michael B. Jordan's mouth, which again I know Tommy was very jealous.
I didn't
But,
like that part.
Yeah, I know you didn't.
I'm sorry, I wasn't a fan.
So I think
Meanwhile, I'd rather be on either side of that receiving end, and I'd be just happy.
I don't know. I she was in this
Oh,
movie.
that was good.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm pretty sure Sabrina loves the casting of Haley now.
I mean, again, it's kind of what Tommy was saying, not to just jump in here, but you
yeah.
could have honestly switched Haley Steinfeld for Lola Kirk at any moment in that movie, and it would have been the same.
That's a
For
good.
me.
That's a good
Like,
call out, Lola.
You
Kirk,
could
huh?
literally take either one of those ladies and flip them, besides it being like the only catalyst for them being the racial side of it. Besides that, you could have flipped either one of them in that movie, and it wouldn't have made a difference to me.
Yeah.
Well, Lola's not as hot, so maybe not.
I mean, maybe not in the movie scene, but she's hot like as an actress. But it just is.
yeah.
I
okay.
think, I wanted to just add one thing there to what we're talking about, Haley. And I want to stress something that somebody said, that multiple people have said. She was killing it in the first half, and then by the second half, it
Mhm.
dropped, which to me is part of the issue with the movie that I talked about before. Because I think if we kept that character from the first half of the movie all the way to the end, we would be singing different praises to Haley right now. And I think it all has. Again, I can talk about that later, but I just wanted to emphasize that a little bit there.
But there's even a message with that second half, and I want to get to in terms of themes to that, not challenge what you're saying, but given the premise of vampires and what you lose, and why you see that in the second half of why you say that was gone, of the price you pay for what was being offered. I know we'll
Yes.
get into those
Hey,
things.
no,
Yeah,
no,
we'll
this is
get there.
perfect. We're in it. Actually, we are in it because we're talking
well,
about these
Okay.
characters.
I wanted to
Keep
give
going.
props back to Annie because Annie, like you said, Miss A Town. Y'all say I don't
Hold
want. I
on,
do.
hold on, Alex. We'll go back to
Yeah.
Alex, but I want to elaborate a little bit more on what you just said. Because yes, once she did turn, it's kind of like she just became someone in the background to kind of further along,
Yeah.
like the vampire.
She lost the fire
like,
under her ass.
yes, and
Because
that's
that's what
basically
the
when you
vampire
become a
happens with a
vampire.
vampire.
Right. And it's almost like, yes, she still just, she falls into this catalyst role, like you mentioned before, Tommy, even more so in the second half because she just becomes kind of like a lackey, and the vampire without a soul, So I feel like that level, I mean, of course, anyone, like you said, like anyone could have probably done that, but the praise still needs to go a little bit to her for, jumping into this role with this kind of cast and holding her own in a way. Not to say that it was at the level of the Michael B. Jordan or of the Annie, but to the point where she's hanging in the same club, and she's holding her own. You got to give her flowers in a little bit too. But yeah, keep going with that, Alex, or Big Money if you want to defer.
No, go, Alex. You go first. Yeah.
Well, yeah, Annie, as you know, I don't watch a lot of horror movies, but when I do, we always know the tropes of that one character that knows the rules. Because they have to have that one that's like, no, this is what we're dealing with. These are the rules. Now, first she thought it was a haint. And then and I like the fact that she was with that for a while until it clicked. I was like, oh no, this ain't no hate. This is even worse. This is vampire, meaning you have your soul, but you're trapped with it. And like, she even broke it down enough to like even from the beginning when she meets with Smoke, where you get their backstory that they lost their baby, and she is the spiritual guide for the neighborhood or the town or the parish or whatever you call that. And he's criticizing her on it, like you're still doing this stuff, this spiritual stuff. And she's like, it protected you, didn't it? And then he's like, why didn't you protect me? Like she was the grounded spiritual character, not even just based on even whether or not the vampires knowing they were real or not. Just good, because that exists in the South. They call the Geechee. That's the group where they're really known for the spiritual Gullah people. So it's deep rooted in the South of this deep spirituality that she had. And guess what? It was protecting Smoke. As we see later on, everything she was doing was not bullshit. She knew the rules. She knew she was able to cue them in on the wooden stake, the garlic, not letting them in. She was quick to say, come in. What's stopping you? Because if it wasn't for her, they would have died much sooner. She knew the rules. And that's why we give it MVP, because she held it down. A lot of them wanted to survive. She was the strong one of the group on both sides, man or woman, that thing held it down.
And she's a good cook. She was cooking up that catfish.
Yeah, and titties.
I love my big, beautiful voodoo queen.
Yeah. Hoodoo, not voodoo.
I've been a fan of her before.
Yes. Shout out to Annie. Her character is definitely a lot complex. You mentioned a bunch of stuff in here, and then we're gonna get into now. You talked about the history and the lore of vampire, and then the religious aspect as well too. So I want to break those two things down first. And I'm gonna go first with the vampire lore, and I'm gonna open it up to Sabrina right now with this vampire lore and how Annie kind of broke it down for us in a quick stop way. Stake through the heart, silver, and everything else like that. How do you think this movie, Sinners, depicted that vampire lore that we know? What do you think that they did right and kind of like where they missed the mark?
Honestly, they having Annie explain it to all of them, it really laid out everything as clear as day for all of us. There was no question about what it was afterwards. So when she's explaining all the rules, everyone's kind of falling in immediately, like, all right, she's the one that knows. Let's do this. Let's do what we got to do. I really love that they honed in on the "you have to be invited" part.
Oh yeah, I do
Like,
too.
I know it was a
think that
huge part of
great.
the movie. It's literally one of those things in vampire movies that they kind of just ask questions until they're invited in, where this was just very on the nose of like, well, let me in. Why don't you let me in? And it's comical in that way, but also very serious because it still follows those rules. And I really like that about the movie, where it's like every single character is just like, why don't you just let us in? It's so on the nose that it's like, well, obviously we're not going to let you in, man. You're a fucking vampire.
You're acting weird. Like,
yeah. So as far as missing the mark, I don't really think of it as missing a mark as in taking the liberties that it it once
Mhm.
for me. So I just appreciate everything about the rules that they replicated from the original lore.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have to agree with you on that too. I love the fact that they use this vampire trope that kind of went away for a while of the invite me in kind of thing. And we haven't seen that since, the Lost Boys and well, Lost Boys and stuff.
Let
And
me
like,
in.
the let me in,
We see it
um,
often, but it's always
it,
put in a different text.
right.
Whereas
And
like
this one,
they're smooth about it. They're sexy. They're enticing so you want to invite them in versus them
right.
just blatantly saying, "Hey man, can I come in?"
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. I feel like that was a breath of fresh air as far as the vampire lore. You mentioned smooth, so I'm gonna go to the smooth effect because it seems like he has something to say about this vampire lore.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. I think they took a cheap route on this one. It's just the same. They did everything that a vampire lore is. There was nothing even more fancy about it. They were just like, yeah. So garlic and what?
It
Didn't need to
honestly
be.
doesn't need to be. There's
No,
so much
no, no.
story surrounding it.
No, no,
I
no.
don't need a new vampire, you know?
No. I feel like there's. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but if we're going to talk about the lore, then we got to talk about the lore. And the lore is the same as always. It's the same thing. You got to use garlic. You got to use holy water. You got to hit them with a silver bullet, which I'm pretty sure that's werewolves. But the let me in is what made it more. How can I put it? It made it more relaxing because the whole point of them is just they couldn't have all right. Here's what's crazy. The whole fucking time they could have been like, okay, so we don't let them in and they die. That's it. Let the sun fucking come up, then they fucking die, and we're
they
good
don't die,
to
they
go.
just
No,
leave for the next
no.
night.
Well, no,
No,
they
that
run
was not
away.
it.
They run away
That was not
and
the
they'll
issue.
go.
No, but
They'll
the
go
reason-
hide.
Yeah,
Those
we know
were
the issue of
infested
why.
inside, so they already got
Yeah.
inside.
But like to me, this whole it was if we're again we're talking about vampire lore. That was the question: is the vampire
Okay.
lore
Yeah,
supposed to be? This is what I'm talking about. So
All right.
because we're talking about the lore, to me, you just stuck to the bom 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 1, 2, 3. We didn't fucking try to go too
Stick to the-
fancy,
stick to
and
the
there's
book.
nothing bad about that because in all different types of movies they try to do something different where you're just like, wait, that's new. But if you're gonna do it a certain way, I don't know. She got to it too quick. They were way too accepting of vampires way too fast. There was not one question. Not one person was
confusion,
like,
nothing.
if anything, Smoke should have been like,
bullshit.
fuck that shit. There's no such thing as vampires. Like somebody had to have a question.
You're
Yeah,
gonna
but
say
that
that to
doesn't
the voodoo
that
queen
doesn't
herself?
necessarily mean it's a vampire though. That could have been a Wendigo. That could have been anything. They could be shapeshifters. We don't know. My whole thing is they accepted vampire way too fast. We can go from Dusk Till Dawn where they fucking turned into vampires and George Clooney is like, what the fuck is that? It's a vampire. They ain't no fucking vampire. That's where you need that whole sense of they accepted something way too quick. Not one person questioned it. Not one person said, wait a minute. Fuck that. Only the girl. But that was for eating the garlic. And that was just supposed to be a red herring kind of thing.
That was great.
Which she was just like, this is stupid. Now, again, we're back to the vampire lore. It wasn't anything special. They stuck to the script, but it worked. It worked for sticking to the script. So that's what I was trying to get to.
Definitely.
We also just
Big
throw out
money
there
Eddie.
that it's probably the time period plays a factor in it too.
Maybe.
Okay.
Or the
And
writing.
we'll definitely get to
Yeah.
that. We'll get to the history and the time period and everything else too.
Yeah.
Big money. It seems like you had something to say about the lore.
Okay, so here's my thing with I'm just talking about vampire lore. As soon as I saw how the movie opened, I went like, okay, this is how we're doing vampires. I knew we were going to take more of a pagan, African, religious, spiritual route with the whole vampire mythos. And I went like, boom, I'm down. I want to see what you're going to do. I want to see how you're going to treat the vampire threat from an African religion standpoint, how you're going to actually repel it. But the problem was that the vampire element was just used as an allegory, and you didn't develop the lore within the spirituality that you're referencing. Now, what I'm getting to that is if you're going to take an element and you're going to introduce something unique and new to it, which you're basically doing by, instead of having a typical Van Helsing or priest in, you have a hoodoo priest there, have something new. Have something new with how you beat the vampires. Stakes, garlic, silver bullets. We've done that in every single movie. Okay, great, but we're using a different. We shifted our entire mythos and we're taking it from a different perspective. I understand why the allegories were done, and we can talk about why the allegories and the themes were done. But in terms of the mythology that is being referenced, I have issues with how it was executed, because I think that if they would have spliced in, just to give you a concrete example, when Sammy's playing and the roof disappears and that the spirits are being invoked, that's when the vampire should have shown up for the first time. Not
Yes!
not because once because you were in the story, in the script, once they start focusing in on the other stuff, which is the allegory and the message and the metaphors that Coogler's trying to present, that's why the vampires show up earlier. They shouldn't have shown up earlier. They should have shown up when the music is playing. That's my issue. Yeah.
Hold up. What do you mean? All right, you say the first time. Now, because I wanted to get to that part anyway when we get talking about the Lord. Remember, what we saw when they first show up, where Remick is first introduced, as far as the audience and that everyone at they don't know what's going on there. And remember, because one thing the joke is that the Native Americans came, they tried to tell people, motherfuckers didn't want to listen, so they said, go fuck yourselves, we're out of here. But so that part you would have gotten maybe from them. But because they left, we were left with Remick. And from there, we knew what he did in that moment. The moment the music was played and all the things, that is when they showed up, though. So we were introduced to, that's what we're saying.
Okay, true, but you're looking at it from from the character's perspectives.
Yeah.
Well, what we were introduced at the beginning was enough for when that happened to keep with the themes, because the blues theme is playing from the beginning, and it is already referencing that you're playing with the devil's music, basically. And then when it hits, I don't need to know that it was a former KKK member who became a vampire. That could have been referenced later within the movie, and you wouldn't have lost anything. Because they're white. You go like, are they KKK members? No, they're not. Like, you could have kept all those references there. That's the problem with the mythos itself that I have an issue with. You focus on the allegory and you shifted the mythos. That's my issue. Like with the movie, because
you're talking about Remy.
No.
The two that Remy turned.
The people who Remy turned. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at. That's the issue. That, to me, the issue is, I get the allegory and I get the metaphor. I just feel that it took a front seat, and your vampire mythos was sorely lacking. And if you wanted to work it better, then you shouldn't have done a period piece, and you should have focused on the blues mythos / vampire mythology. I just feel that he was juggling too many things, and one of the balls was going to fall.
I think
that was my problem.
Nailed that. You fucking nailed it, Big Money. I'm on board with everything he said. He fucking nailed that shit. We did not need to see that. That could have been a flashback. We did not need to see that, and I feel that actually ruins the concept of the vampires. It would have made so much sense when that fucking building burned down, quote unquote, burned down, and then they're there. You know, because he's right. They allude to it in the beginning, the red eyes that you see. That's where we get it. We know this is a vampire movie because of that specific. We didn't need to see him, the KKK shit. We didn't need to see him turn the other two. They didn't fucking matter. They just there. We just went, oh shit, okay. Then you can have that whole backstory told by a fucking discussion that he has with Haley Steinfeld. Like, it could have been done way more simpler. We didn't need that because even the Indian thing, it played no factor. Why were they Native Americans?
But wait. I'm confused what we're saying. You didn't, that this was Coogler sending a deeper message, though. So why would that not be necessary That's why I'm confused at what is being said here. Why would
That
that
I'm
have been
saying,
needed based on
I'm
when,
saying,
yeah.
I'm saying that the allegory took a front seat to the
Well,
mythos building, and the problem is you cannot sacrifice world building over allegory because that just becomes propaganda and it doesn't become or
but
evangelizing or teaching instead of actually like it becomes a Barney the dinosaur
but
episode instead of a movie.
See, I
no,
took that way
because
differently.
yeah, that was not what I
Uh,
saw. I saw
Yeah.
again. Remember the period that this is done in.
Of
So
course.
and so, because I was going to go even to the deeper thing of the overall movie of why the overall movie is so sad to begin with. Because I don't know, I'm going to go there since we're going to use that as like to say the thing. This movie is a horror movie in a sense that they were doomed from the start because of all those elements. They
Yeah, I
were
mean, it came
doomed
back.
for
Yeah,
death
it came back at the end.
regardless, and that's why I don't realize all those was done because he even tells them, uses that to say you should join me because guess what? You guys had no shot. You thought you was gonna have freedom and you was gonna live your lives. And Remy even used that to say you had no shot to begin with. And he uses that as a way to try to entice them that you're lucky that I came here because your lives had no shot chance. So like to say that, then that kind of takes away from the movie as a whole because yes, he's using the vampire, even though because I was gonna get into why the vampire part was used as a way of assimilation and conformity on the broader scale. So to say all that, that is all necessary given the time period, because you can't not have that because those, even without the vampires, this movie would have became that anyway, given what they were set up to become. So
Yes.
and that's
Yes,
but
that's the
so
point. You don't need the
but
vampires to do it.
but this is what but you're kind of saying it made them it doesn't change it anyway. He used it for a horror film, but he also used that. For me, he combined them perfectly based on what Remy's interaction. Remy says, I'm from a runaway land. He used those two because he knew as a white man, they would protect him versus then turning him over. Even when the Native Americans came and said, there's this evil spirit here to kill you. Because of their ignorance, they chose ignorance over safety, which yes, it is a better meaning. Sometimes the lesson needs to be told. So I get like it doesn't need it because all those elements, I think, but so to say to take one out, that's not fair to the movie when this is how the movie was written to send those messages. Whether you like how it, or you don't agree with how what it's used, you can't say it wasn't effective because it was utilized, I think, in a major
I
way.
agree with you, Mr. A-Town. I'm just saying that
Yeah.
scene should have been placed later. I don't think we
Maybe
should have.
okay.
I think that
So
would have
then-
been better as he was explaining to
So
Haley Steinfeld.
I would give you that in terms of okay, maybe the placement of the scene
Yes.
could have been moved. I'll
Correct.
give you that.
Don't take it out. I'm not saying take
Yeah.
it out. Like, because
Okay.
you're right.
That's-
There's a deep
that's-
meaning to it.
I agree there.
I don't think
can
you
agree
should
there
take it
too.
out.
I can
Okay.
agree there too.
I just think
That's
it
what
should
had
be
me confused,
placed
yeah.
differently. That like
It
don't
could
show
even-
me the
it could
vampire
even-
right away.
Okay, that I can agree with. Maybe it could even been put when he actually turned everybody and he was explaining the same way they used to talk about the Grand Wizard
Right.
selling them the land and they flashback. That I was confused that you were saying you didn't need it. No, that was needed, but
No,
different
no.
placement.
Yeah,
Different placement.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
editing. I guess so. You give
look
that
at
to
this.
like I guess editing of the choice.
Yeah. Look at us, guys. We are coming out to common ground in Night School.
Agreed
of
across
Horror.
the board.
Yeah.
I love that, and I feel like the reason why that scene was put there is because they needed to introduce the vampire and create anger and some kind of like fear and just an enemy right away and see what he can do. Even though,
But to who?
The killings weren't even
But to
shown
who?
on
Audience.
screen, which
But
is
to the
crazy.
audience?
us, the audience.
But the
basically.
audience knew it was a vampire movie.
Listen, I
Not
get it.
really.
I get
Most
it.
people
but,
went in not knowing nothing.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that didn't.
Imagine
know it
you
was
never saw a
vampire movie.
trailer.
They're
You didn't know
silly.
it. You wouldn't know it.
They
Funny,
were
the
silly.
No,
top Google
no,
for it
no.
is Sinners a vampire movie.
Yeah. They're
A
silly.
lot of
That's the
people
top
say
Google for it.
A lot of people I know they said they went in knowing nothing. They
Oh,
went in.
yeah.
There are
Real.
people that go
Either-
into movies
either
not
way.
knowing anything.
Good for them.
Yeah. So-
Either way, the scene could have been placed differently. It was
Yeah,
placed where
that I
it
give
was.
you.
It did its job. And I get that. All right. But you, Big Money, alluded to a lot of the history and the lore, and I'm gonna open it up to you and to A-Town because I know, but mostly you're a history major. This is what you teach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of like the religious and stuff too. I want you to elaborate more on that and how they used it and kind of to your words, didn't really use it the right way. So I want to open it up to you.
So, just really quickly, when it comes to all the historical stuff that was happening in this movie was beautifully done.
Oh my
Like,
god.
Okay.
it was accurate. It was, and it was subtle in all the racism that was happening, and you saw it happening, and you just accepted it because the movie accepted it. It's like
Right.
all these things, and you're looking at this world, and you're going like, this is building up such beautiful tension to when there's that moment of butting heads, because you know that if this was not a vampire movie, what they're doing would have eventually ended up causing problems with the local authorities
Right.
and all that. That's why, to me, the movie that I was seeing, especially because it was so well acted. The references to Al Capone, World War I veterans. When do we see that in a movie? Talking about World
Right.
War
Right.
One veterans,
It's
like
always
usually they do just World War II or Vietnam and things like that. Like the fact that we're setting it up at the time that we are in the movie, I thought just worked beautifully. Like I said, all those references are great. Here's my thing with the spirituality, though, which is my other big concentration stuff.
Yep.
I don't have a problem that they shifted towards more non-Abrahamic faiths as the focus of the movie, but you still need to mention why spirituality is important. And I think that what the film failed to do was do that proper shift when it came to that. That was one of my issues, because, and I'll just say, when you look at what Sammy is dealing with, if you would have played it as for because they it is the story, but I think that they don't do it well. It's that guitar, he's obsessed with the guitar, he's playing with the guitar, he's opening the door to the devil for it. And then if you would have moved the scene that we talked about and just have that awesome moment when he's playing, and all the spirits of past, present, and future collide in one single moment, showing everybody's culture who's inside, like all the ancestors and all whatnot. Beautiful scene. And then you realize that there are consequences for being as the movie title goes, sinner, right? But the problem, and then all of us are sinners. Yes, but at the same time, how do we combat it? The only way to combat that fallen nature, that is our spirituality, which is what the Hoodoo priestess talked about. It's what his father talked about. But at the end of the movie, what does he decide to do? He still decides to take the guitar and go. And I think that is part of, if it's meant to be the lesson, I think it's a poor lesson. If it's meant to be a tragedy, which is what Alex alluded to, then it is supremely tragic, because he decided to engage. He decided to embrace a part of himself and forget about what actually caused that night of horror in the first place. That's
I
just
would
my take.
and I would go with
Good
that
take.
until that second post-credit scene. When he sits
Yeah.
down in church, look at the song he chooses to play.
Yeah. Yep.
So, like you said, I'm going to go Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And he chooses to sing "This Little Light of Mine." I'm going to let it shine,
Mm-hmm.
because it represents. Yes, this is a strong thing, and yes, it can. What can be used for good can be used for evil. He just happened that in that moment, it was supposed to be a great moment, but it was just wrong time of who it attracted. Because same way they say like about Satan. Satan was an angel. Satan what longs to get back to that light that he was cast down from. And Remick represents trying to get. That's why he said, "I want you," and we forgot.
I want your
I know
talent.
we. And let's get, because Remick, I think, lends a thing as Satan and represent the temptation. He covets that light that Sammy has because his gift is so powerful. The problem, I think, especially when his father was saying it's evil, is that you only see one side. Because of what it can attract, he says it's the devil. No, it can also bring light, because what is used to finally kill them all is that same guitar that caused it, to the point where they always, even to the point of saying like music soothes the savage beast. What is the one thing that Stack told him down the line? We have all your records. And he's like, even though like the new stuff, And again, this is a mindless killing machine that at the end of the day was willing to sit down and listen to that music again because whatever it did calmed that part of him. And that's what Remick was trying to reach. That's why the norm of, again, know we're deeming into the themes of why the vampire, of that family of having, and I know we're going to get into the Irish dance, but just going back to like the spirituality of, yes, it's the temptation, the evil, but it's also the other side of what it's used for.
Great takes, guys. I got to be honest. That's great. And just piggybacking off of what you said, let's dive into the culture and with slavery and the time, and of course, what we all love, and I know I love the most, is the music in this movie. So like, as far as cultures wise, you both everyone's kind of alluded to kind of like this being so culture appropriated, and just for the time and showing and depicting how it is to be in Mississippi in 1932, and the struggles and hardships, and also things that people would do to just trying to get their minds off of things, and it plays such a point, and one of those things is, of course, letting loose and music, right? They used music as this kind of gate, and they alluded right in the beginning. They said it, and then throughout the movie it keeps showing up, and it really blows it out of the water when we get that music scene in the barn with Sammy, and the barn burns down, and you see all of these different era music dancers and music icons. We've got people from the Avery Society in New York. There's people in there. We even have the Japanese or the Chinese dancers that are getting depicted, and you
Korean.
even get Korean. Yeah, sure.
Was it Korean? I think they were Korean.
Well, I'm pretty sure they were Chinese. They were Chinese.
Let me double check.
Yeah,
They were
Mississippi
Chinese
back
because
in that
she
time-
responded.
Yeah.
He spoke to me in Chinese.
Okay.
Chinese, yeah.
Yeah.
So, the Chinese dancing, the twerking, the gangsta West Coast music. What this scene did for me, kind of just like, it gave me chills and goosebumps just seeing how similar and how captivating music can be for everyone. And it can be an escape. It can be therapy. It can be just something to just cut loose and fix your feeling, your emotions of what you're doing, and just help you through tough times, and also could be the devil, like Mama said. I wanna jump to Sabrina. How do you feel about the culture and the music and how it's depicted in Sinners? And what did you love or hate about it?
I love the multiple representation of cultures in it and how they intermingled in that one building. So it truly felt like that one place was a haven for all of them to find a sense of connection and peace together. I love the intro for like blues music. Some of them all of them knew blues music is what was going to connect them, but it also connected the different cultures in that one moment. And they call it soul music for a reason. Like it touched everybody's soul. Even in the theater, I was feeling it. I'm feeling
Feeling.
every bit that they were in that moment of just like, this is what connection is. This is what community is. It can span through multiple cultures. It can span through multiple generations. There were old and young in that building. And I thought the movie did a really good job about connecting all of them in that one moment, in that single shot where they're just panning out and you see all of them surrounded by the burning flames and like the rubble of the building. And they're just there. They're in that moment together. They're feeling everything in that moment, and they're truly connected as a people.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You said that perfectly, and thank you for that. I mean, and even the way it was shot. I mean, Coogler had it on
Beautiful.
one camera, and it was just sliding through the whole entire barn. And I've seen some behind the scenes of it. And if you haven't, I suggest you definitely go and see them. It's just beautiful the way they just have that one camera, and it's just going on a dolly all around, and you get these extras and these real life dancers that they've auditioned and had on set, just to kind of invoke that kind of power that music has in this. And not only that, they said it, this one dialogue that I want to like bring out to it, and it was just like, well, they might have brought us over here and gave us their religion and their ways of living and this like that, but the music is ours. We brought that over here. And you know what? And it shows how much pride that they take in the music and in something that it's theirs. And I felt like that was such a strong theme in this movie, is just the fact that like this is ours and you can't take it.
Talking about that too, one of the best lines was, they love the music, they just don't like where it comes from. And
Yep.
the funny part about what they were saying with that is when he mentions like, "Oh yeah, just when some of these white folk think they got the beat, the rhythm down, we change it on them."
Yeah.
And that's like the
I
antithesis of
love it.
blues,
So good.
where it's ever changing. There's no sheet music that you can use to
None.
play like traditional blues. It's
Yeah.
you have the basics of it, but everyone plays it a little bit different, whether it's a
Yep.
couple notes here or there, but it's all the same thing where it's like it's just how you're feeling in the moment. It's never
Yeah.
just like, here it is on paper, played exactly as it is.
Yeah, absolutely. A-Town Ryan, I know you have a lot to say about this. You're on par with me as far as like that music-esque and like getting deeply embedded with the culture and just
Well,
music in
I
general.
told you like when we left the theater of one of the themes of this, the music part, which I think I'm crazy, but it is a very big symbolism of the music industry as a whole.
Yeah,
In
yes.
terms of when you have something good and like where it's something good, again from the culture, again, then these big companies, again, Remy's supposed to represent like that big conformity companies where it's like, oh, we like that. Let's get more of that, but let's take it,
Yes.
let's rip the soul out of it. Aha. And then make it something that everyone can have. And that's why then you lose the piece of it. Even again, I go back to the post credit where Stack said it's the new stuff is missing where it came from.
Right.
Because over time, again, music companies, the industry, they took even again hip hop, jazz, all of these things.
Everything.
They get taken, put through a filter for it to be. Again, I've talked about it when it comes to music, called fast food music. There's
Food music.
home cooked meal. There's fast food music. Most of the music we have is fast food, where it's meant to just churn out easily. The reason why I go that because Remick represents that in terms of what caught his attention was that music, but he wanted it. And he wanted that talent. He wanted to get a piece of it. And again, fuck it. We're dancing around it. We're going to the fucking Irish dance, people.
Let's do it. Let's do it. We're talking about it.
Alone was his attempt to say, come out here because I got music too. And when they broke down Rocky Road to Dublin, I'm not gonna lie. If I was in that damn shed, I was like, hang on, guys. Let me just go. Let me just step out there just for a little bit. Cause that number was fire. Oh my
It really
God.
was.
When they were breaking it down,
That
fucking
Irish
Cornbread
dancing.
was like a zombie, just this thing, like just getting it down like a revival. That was him trying to emulate what he heard in his own way. Of course, they say when he beat you, they all have the same memories. So, like, even the racist Southern people was singing beautiful Irish tunes, pitch perfect and everything. So that was him saying, "No, come, we can do all our music. Look what I'm doing. Ain't this? Look at my little dance." Like, again, that counts as a villain song if I've ever heard one. That's one of the top villain songs I've heard in a while. But that shit was catchy as hell, and that was him showing, "Look, I'm forming a family that you can all be a part of. Let's get down. I can do this music thing too." The problem is, it's real, but it's not. I don't even know how to explain it. It was missing something compared to what he heard that he was coveting.
Yeah.
That's basically
I love that. I love all these takes about the music of it because it plays to one of the biggest themes, and I felt like Coogler is saying is that like stop passing out invitations to the cookout basically, and to our music, to our what's ours. You know,
if you're gonna respect it, respect
yes,
it.
Yeah, respect
That's what I
it
mean.
because just because like you could sing a little tune, doesn't mean that like if we're giving you an invite, then it would drain us, really, legit drain us. And then you really just need to listen and just like pay homage to it and do it the right way, and don't give us that fast food music, right?
Plus, there was a
Draining of the
jealousy.
blood is like draining of our music and like watering it down, and that's what I feel like. That's what I feel like some of the themes are in this movie.
And I just want to correct myself. When I say it was soulless, like I'm not saying like the Irish music was soulless. I meant to say it as in Remy had a jealousy of what he heard based on where he came from, his home. That's why even toward the end when he complained about the Christians that came and took his land and messed his people, the reason why he thought he could take what Sammy had because he was trying to get back to that. That's why him doing the jig and having everyone join in was him trying to emulate that sense of family and that sense of belonging. That's why they took the time to warn him, like, come with me, because what you thought you had, you didn't have. Again, you're a soul-sucking evil vampire that wants to slaughter everyone. So it's not the same.
It's not the same. There's levels. But
you're creating more of a hive mind family instead of a family.
Right.
Of individuals. There you go.
Yeah.
And that individuality is very important.
Yes. Keep to your individualism. And I feel like that's what Sammy was trying to do. And, just everybody is just trying to live their own life. I want to hear from my other two guys over here that has been kind of quiet when we've been talking about the music. Tommy, Eddie, I mean, what do you feel about this music? Did it hit your soul? Do you think that it's okay that they keep taking some of the culture and watering it down? Like, what's going on in your heads? Let's go to the white guy. Let's go to the white guy.
Which one you want to start with?
I want to talk.
We didn't change the rhythm this time, Tommy. You can join in.
All right, hold on. Okay, cool. I'm in. I get it. Honestly, listen. I love music. Okay, music's fucking awesome. Okay, I guess that's the way I can put it. But the soul, I love soul music. Okay, yes, I love rhythm and blues. I mean, you guys know, a lot of you guys know, especially, that my favorite band in general is Aerosmith, and they're very rhythm and blues. There's rock there, but Steven Tyler loves the blues, man, and he's got the voice used to have the voice to fucking hit it. But I can, while watching it, when Miles starts singing or Sammy starts singing, and even just the fucking part in the car when he's like traveling, and I'm like, ooh, oh my god,
yeah.
Like, I was like, that, I felt it. Yeah, I'm white, but I felt it too, man. Right. And that scene in the barn, like, I loved it. I was like, let's fucking go. I love the way it was shot. I love the way it was sung. I love the fact that, like you mentioned, the different versions of how music became as time went on, from the back to present. You feel it as just an audience member going, I'm in here, I'm invested. And then you get to the fucking Irish part and the jig, and I'm like, he's fucking killing it right now. Like, he was murdering. I would have been joining Mr. A-Town. I would have said, let's go. Let's fucking go. Who cares if we get bit at this point? Yeah. That looks like a lot of fucking fun. Hey, bud, what's up? And then they all just turn and just bite your face off, but you're having a good time. And that's kind of what he was pretty much making. Like Mr. A-Town said, look at me. Look at everyone. That we're having a good time. It gave me, like, in True Blood, they did something like this as well. And the music, without the music in this movie, it would be a different movie, and it would be worse. The music plays so well in this movie. Without it, this movie doesn't need to be made. I downloaded the soundtrack, and I've listened to it multiple times because it's really that. It's let me not just say enjoyable. It's powerful. And you need that in music nowadays because, like all of you guys said, fast food music or just the way shit is done now, no one cares. Nobody gives a shit about music nowadays. It's garbage. But this is music, and this is soul music, and this is where it's supposed to hit you. And if it doesn't hit you, you're not listening correctly.
Preach it, brother. And don't worry, you're invited to the cookouts.
I've been invited to many.
He appreciates it.
He's been at the cookouts.
I've been at all the cookouts. I always bring my potato salad as well.
And we always put a dough.
And nobody eats it.
Big Money Eddie, the music, the themes, what's going on in that Puerto Rican head of yours, buddy?
So for me, the music, nobody would be surprised to know that most of the music I listen to is like, souls and blues, outlaw country, salsa, not modern country or outlaw country, Johnny Cash, Merle Haggard, like the real deal stuff, like the real good stuff. Salsa, I listen to a lot of Nova Trova and other genres. That what are all these genres doing? They are talking about the plight of the human spirit, right? Yep. And the yearning that we have. And this music for this movie does that beautifully. I agree with what Alex was describing with the Irish folk dancing. and how he explained it was beautiful. So I'm not going to add to that. What I would say is like I would have a conversation with Ryan Coogler, not with anybody. Which I would say like that I have a theological disagreement with you there, but I would get into a conversation with him about that. But it's not related to the show per se. But what I would say is that there is a legitimate answer to the there is a counter proposal to what Remick is offering. That sounds similar, but it's more genuine. But that's coming from my own spiritual background, right? And I saw that as a pale imitation. I think it worked, but I think that I'm not going to dive into a lot of it. But just saying like this is why you need to be careful how you do vampires because most of vampire lore is ingrained in our culture from a Abrahamic standpoint. And usually the vampire metaphors that play along usually do allude to a lot of the Abrahamic themes, not so much to the more pagan or native or tribal religions. So uh, that's just like something that I think about when I look at these movies. Like, what are you trying to propose as a counter proposal? Because my issue with like the movie in terms of those musical themes, because it all plays together, right? Is that if you are saying that it is soulless, then there is a soul. And if you're saying that there's a corruption to that soul, like what redeems it, right? Like what redeems it? Is it love? Is it pursuing your passions? All death or something to that effect? So if it's death, that's a sad state of affairs. Because that just means that when the music is over, then we're done. But then in terms of world building, if death is the only thing that's left for enjoyment and release, then why are there supernatural vampires in the first place in this movie? Those are things that are just like script things that drive me insane. But in terms of music, I think, and I'm not, and everybody knows that I'm conflicted on the movie. I think that this soundtrack for this film is probably one of the best, if not the best, I've heard in the last 25, 30 years for
Wow.
me, for my own personal taste, for my own personal
Mm.
taste.
Okay.
So
Yeah, man. I mean, I think it's great. The last 30 years, that's bold, but hey, that's your take. I mean, it's definitely up there. The music is phenomenal. And as far as like what you were saying about, the script and how it plays a part in everything else, in my opinion, for you, is just like at the end of the day, we also got to realize that it's a movie and it's a horror movie. It's a vampire movie. So whether you felt like all the vampires just kind of felt thrown in there, or it's like there was a disconnect or anything else like that. You have to remember that on top of all of these beautiful themes with the beautiful history that's spot on and the culture and everything else too, it's still a horror movie, and the horror is vampires. And that's what I'm gonna say. That's it.
yeah, no, I get it. It's just that I would only push back quite quickly on that is that like if you're gonna make a fun movie, make a fun movie, right? If you're gonna make a deep movie, make a deep movie. Don't make fun movie mistakes on a deep movie and then try to say like, well, it's like I was thinking about the themes more than this. No, if you're going to do a fun movie, just stick with just being fun, and you can be deep while being fun. But if you're going to purposefully try to hit like cinema level, then you gotta be batting at 100 at that point, which I don't think that this movie does. That's my only critique that I would have. That's just me.
Right, right. I mean, I feel like why not have both, right? And why not have all of it? I mean, especially when you may not have a perfect score on every single fun or horror or serious movie, but if you could get pretty damn close, which this movie, in my opinion, feel like it did, why not do
All
it
right.
all? You know?
I would add, even with that, what Big Money's saying, I would say very rarely is something like this even attempted.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I get like, I guess it's like he expected more. And that, again, that's his opinion and I can respect that. But the fact that based on what was attempted And like you said, Matt, woo, he went up there. And I would say, again, if it's not 100, boy, you at least hit 90.
Yeah, definitely.
I would give him even again, and I'm not
every
saying
aspect.
I think it's high, but in terms of like the fact that we can get this deep on again, if you're gonna say a fun vampire movie or even a deep thing, and it still has all these elements that we know that we can get into. Based again, I don't do a lot of horror, but even on the worst vampire movie I've seen, or the high thing, we're not even near this level.
Yeah.
And that's saying something for the first attempt on something tried on this genre, on this up. All right, I would say, I know we got to close up because I know we're running long.
Yep.
If any other trope would have been worked into this, so let's say not vampires, let's say we did werewolves, let's say we did undead, which vampires, yeah, but like zombie undead.
Zombies.
Like, do you think this would work on any other of those type of tropes? That would just be my question for you.
Yeah, I mean, in my personal opinion, I don't think the zombie stuff would work. Just because they kind of have no soul, really, or not soul. They don't really have the thinking and capacity, and the way the zombies have been depicted, they've just been
methodical.
ravaged,
Yeah.
right? They've been just ravaged, want to kill people and don't really have a reason for it other than I'm going to kill you. Werewolves maybe, but then that allows you, but similar when the sun goes down and the moon is out, they're just ravage animals as well too. So I don't feel like those two tropes, in my opinion, can work in this kind of setting, in this kind of movie. I feel like vampires are the closest to being the human and like with the memories and like being able to talk to it and that kind of disguise everything into it. It's just, I think it works the best.
Big money look like you want to.
One just quick thing is just I think demons.
Yeah.
I was
Demons
going
are
to say
spirits.
that.
Yeah,
Demons
I
are
was
spirits.
trying to
I
point
was
with
thinking the
Sabrina
same
because Sabrina put the finger up. I was like,
Right,
I think
yeah,
I know where
yeah.
she's going.
Oh.
It would be
I
demons.
didn't
Yep.
see.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't see it. Sabrina, yes.
In my
My whole
box, you're
thing,
pointing at Eddie.
I
That's why
know.
said
Even
that.
when
Oh,
I
yeah.
do it, I'm technically pointing at
in
Eddie.
my
I
box,
see.
you were pointing to me. So
Yeah, I was just doing this
Sabrina.
as in like, yes,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have. My
Yes,
whole thing
Sabrina,
is
go.
the only other thing that could work in this is demons,
Yeah.
preferably in the form of Billy Zane.
Billy Zane.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
If
The
Billy Zane was in
entire
this movie, it
time
would be
of
better.
where is Billy Zane? He is he's the motherfucker that could get everybody outside.
And he will come in using the same intro he had on the Jennifer Hudson show.
Yes.
Because it blends into this
Yes.
movie.
Yeah.
That is the
Same.
only thing I think could work other
And
than
we all know.
vampires.
And we all know he can whistle his ass off.
Oh yeah.
He can carry
I
it
have a
too.
child.
He would have a
I have
child.
a
Yeah.
child.
Yep. Can I please come in? I have a
Mention your
child.
He would definitely have a child. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's
I
the only
love
one.
that.
Yeah. I
The only-
agree. I agree with Sabrina. Demons. 1,000%.
Demons, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Demons for me would work, but you again because we're doing the a different type of spirituality. Lean into that and make the demons unique. Make those features unique. Like go insane. Like that was my problem with the supernatural elements in this movie. They didn't go insane enough. Especially since they decided to do something different, they just stayed with the same old instead of going a little bit insane with it. So just go insane.
They have so
Go
many
insane
things they
with
could
Billy
pull
Zane.
from. Like they could pull from so many different religions with zombies, so many different cultures with zombies, or not zombies, demons. They can go through different demons. Like they specify you're playing the devil's music,
Mhm.
and the fact that like he's a preacher's son. It's like you could have went with demons,
They did mention demons, but
but they're talking about
didn't
like
really-
your inner demons or the demons in the working of the
Are
world
they?
versus
Because
like
in
vampire.
the beginning, they're like the music was used to conjure people from even the
Yeah.
the other
Past and
worlds,
present,
you know?
yeah.
So
But then
past,
demons
present,
don't have the
demons-
same rules as vampires, so
Right,
it would change
exactly.
the story a little bit.
Yeah, well, a lot really. But yeah, no, that's a
Make
great
it more
question.
fun, probably.
Maybe.
Yep. Yeah, man. We can keep going on and on about Sinners. It's such a rich movie that we can go on forever. But we're gonna kind of like hold our discussion about Sinners, the movie, and all the themes and everything else like that. Because with a movie so rich and so embedded in all of this, it's easy to get confused. It's easy to lose your way and need a little guidance. But luckily, we have someone here to help you through it and possibly give you some prescriptions. And I'm talking about our veteran, present movie therapist. Where are you, buddy?
Therapy, therapy, we need some therapy. Therapy, therapy, we need some therapy. Call Tommy James 877 Move It now with the prescription pad in hand. He's gonna fix your whole.
Now it's time for a little bit of a therapy session. And as you know, when I do my therapy sessions, I choose a character from the movie that we discuss, and I give it 3 prescriptions, and I try to change their lives. So today I've decided to do something just a little bit different. Now, because we were talking about the movie Sinners, you probably are like, oh, obviously he's going to pick Michael B. Jordan. We know the movie therapist loves Michael B. Jordan. Well, I'm switching it up a bit. Today, my patient's name is none other than Alex A. Town Ryan. Yes, sir, you are the patient of today's therapy session in the film that I've created, How I Learned to Love MBJ, a.k.a. Michael B. Jordan. Diagnosis for Mr. A-Town is none other than chronic Jordan denial syndrome. The best part is, ladies and gentlemen, he's trying to talk and has no idea that he's muted, so he has no way of actually being able to discuss what I'm saying. Symptoms include spontaneous eye rolling, aggressive shrugging, and just being a straight-up hater. What a fucking hater indeed Mr. A-Town was when it came to Michael B. Jordan. Oh, you can get excited for this one. It's going to be a doozy. Let's go to prescription 1. I call it the Creed Cleanse. 3 rounds of respect. Sir, you are hereby sentenced to watch Creed 1, Creed 2, and Creed 3 back-to-back in a weighted hoodie made from the broken dreams of every clown who doubted MBJ. Every time you think he's just okay, you owe 10 push-ups and a rooftop apology and a full weeping Eye of the Tiger performance in front of all your neighbors. That's right, all your neighbors. If you don't cry during a montage, you're legally classified as emotionally bankrupt trash and must salute the TV screaming, yes, champ, until you mean it. By the end, if you're not building a glittery shrine, to Saint Michael B. Jordan, start over, Alex, because it took you long enough to finally see the light. Prescription 2. I call it Big Papa energy. You slandered Michael B. Jordan, the man, the myth, the walking Oscar statue for years. You doubted Jamal from Hardball, the kid who may have been just a little too old for that division. But sir, now you coach forever. Volunteer for every little league loaded with forged birth certificates and future legends named Jamal, handing out sunflower seeds and delivering tearful speeches that accidentally quote Creed. You keep grinding until, mid-grounder drill, you drop to your knees, look to the sky and sob, sweet cinematic justice, MBJ is all new, Denzel. And prescription 3 for you, Mr. A-Town. I call it the Killmonger Confessional. I want you to go find the jankiest Killmonger costume at Spirit Halloween that can vomit it out. Attend a Black Panther cosplay event in front of hundreds, and I want you to scream, I called him overhype. I was a moron. I'm the one who failed Wakanda. Prepare for the booing. You earned it. And then sob your way through a handwritten apology to none other than me, Tommy James, the movie therapist. And I want you to title it, How I Finally Pulled My Head Out of My Ass and Fell in Love with Michael B. Jordan. And yes, Michael B. Jordan is his name now. So, Mr. A-Town, this is for you. In conclusion, I hope you enjoyed this photo. In the end, Michael B. Jordan isn't just great. He is greatness. Whether he's killing vampires, carrying Wakanda on his back, or punching people into emotional growth as Creed, MBJ doesn't act. He ascends. Smoke and Stack might be fighting vampires, but Michael B. Jordan? He's fighting the laws of physics just by existing. He's Denzel 2.0. If Denzel did 10,000 crunches a day and made gods weep with envy. And finally, after years of being wronger than a screen door on a submarine, Alex has seen the light. Like a raccoon emerging from a dumpster into glorious daylight. He's screamed to the heavens what all of us from Second Rounds on Us and Night School Horror already knew. Michael B. Jordan is him. Thank you.
Wow.
Can I talk now?
No, wait, hold on. Can I just be honest with you? This was probably the best therapy session ever because you know what, Tommy? You were giving prescriptions out and, we don't know if it worked, but we see it firsthand. The power that you have in turning people around in your therapies. And for that, sir, I congratulate you and I congratulate Mr. A-Town Ryan for seeing the light and being a transformed man. Now you can talk, Mr. A-Town.
The worst thing I made two mistakes overall. First of all, it's admitting this. And second, showing you how to do AI cartoon characters.
Yep. Oops.
That picture at the end, though, I need it.
So people, this is going to be.
I have it saved. I have
after this episode.
I can't front. It has to because.
This is a monumentous occasion for both of you, and it needs to be documented.
Definitely.
I knew you was gonna do some bullshit, but motherfucker, like the moment you said, and the fact that no one can hear me, and I'm yelling at the goddamn phone the entire time with each slide, and I know where you took each picture from. That's what pisses me off.
It's so good. So good.
I wore that outfit. I know where that outfit. You took the damn Prince James Chappelle sweater and incorporated it.
So
that was good. I applaud. You know what? You deserve this. This is your moment. And I knew what I was doing when I made this confession. I wanted to save it to when we actually recorded, but I was like, no, I had to admit it then and there. Fuck you.
Oh, you gave me a perfect therapy session. Thank you. That was fantastic. I had so much fun this week making that.
Oh, son of a bitch.
It was hard to keep this from you, Mr. A-Town Ryan.
Oh, so you knew. Oh yeah. Fuck you.
And yes, people, our fellow night school listeners, this will be on our social medias. You see all the slides that our movie therapist has given to Mr. A-Town Ryan as soon as this episode is out. So thank you for that. That was amazing. But with every therapy session, there also comes the moments that we didn't even talk about and we kind of alluded to, but there was a lot of blood. There was a lot of blood. There was a lot of killing. And with all those killings, there has to be some glorious gore.
Glorious gore! Glorious, and I won't survive. I won't survive because of glorious gore. And I won't survive. I won't survive.
Yes. It's glorious gore. It's the segment that just takes all the blood and just throws it everywhere, and we put it all upside his head. I'm telling you guys, we talked about a lot of stuff in Sinners, but we didn't talk how great all of these killings were. Can I just be honest? We even saw 3 random ass people who weren't in the barn die. We didn't know who they were. We didn't have a backstory. We didn't even have a name. They weren't even dancing, but they weren't even the main shot when the stupid bitch let them all in, right? No, but they showed how they died, and boy, did they die. Some people got hands thrown all the way through them. They had rips out of their throats, and it was just kind of ridiculous. We even had a snake. A snake fucking caught the bullet. I'm talking about not even a bullet. It was a knife right to the jugular, and we saw it just bleed out, which is a great symbolism in itself. But whoa, was it gory, and I loved it. We saw probably one of the best moments. We saw Miss Haley Mary just get all up in Mr. Michael B. Jordan, and then bite all up in Mr. Michael B. Jordan. And then when you saw all the blood just dripping down her mouth and saying, we're all going to die, you're all going to die tonight. And I was just like, you know what? You looking at me like that, I might have to die too. I might have to die with you, darling, because goddamn, you look hot. And the way you were moving those hips, I'm looking and I'm liking. I'm telling you, it was pretty good. But I got to be honest with you, and I got to give a shout out to Movie God, because I try to go back and look and count as many killings as I've seen in this movie. And boy, was it a lot. But he did. Movie God did. And apparently, there's, with vampires and humans, there's about 60 kills in this movie. 60 people just fucking got murked, including racist KKK members, including a snake, and including humans and vampires alike. We even got a whole vampire burning at dawn, which was insane. We got a vampire with a guitar to the head, the metal shear just straight up in his brain, and he kept going. And he kept moving. I gotta be honest. And then the pecs on Michael B. Jordan while he's killing the KKK members kind of got me questioning my sexuality a little bit. But Jesus Christ, can I be honest with you? The most glorious gore in this movie happens to go to Miss Grace and Chanton when she said, come on in, motherfuckers. And they all come out and she goes straight to her husband and she stabs him and lights him on fire. And as all the other motherfuckers are killing people and other people are dying, you still see her stabbing her husband and on fire burning. Can I just tell you how glorious and sadistic and just goddamn gory? I just can't even know how many other words to say about this specific kill when I saw it. And the kept times they kept shooting back to it, and she just getting more and more burnt and melting. I was just like, yeah, this is amazing. This is glorious. And this is gore. This is what we wanted. This is Sinners. This is vampires. It wasn't even a lot of biting or anything. No, it was a wife killing her husband on fire. What an amazing scene. That happens to be the glorious of the gore in Sinners. And I could have picked a bunch of other different ones. I could have even picked Slim, him cutting himself and then getting sacrificed. But I didn't. It goes to the China who told all the vampires to come in and die and kill her husband. And for that, we say thank you for all the glory and all the gore.
Love how you said it in Spanish at the end. I love it.
China.
Fucking China, yo. I mean, I don't disagree. I get it. The whole town would have been vampires and would have came back out with more vampires and you would have died anyway. You might as well contain it, right? But thank you for giving us a sacrifice and some glorious gore, people. I gotta be honest. But you know, as crazy and as glorious of that gore, it was definitely very creepy, because who can ever think about killing their spouse and then burning at the same time? It kind of gets you thinking, and it kind of gives you the heebie-jeebies. And for that, we have somebody who's so well endowed in the creepiness that we have to go to her corner.
You never leave. You never see me. Creep corner.
Fellas, let's imagine for a second that you are just thriving in your own environment, in the joint that you have created, a jute joint. You and your brother have worked so damn hard to get here, and you're finally in it. Through all the adversity, through all of the trouble and turmoil you've experienced in your life. And the woman that you absolutely love, that you just can't seem to get over, but you're desperately trying to protect, kisses you right on the dance floor. You think to yourself, this can't happen. You're another man's property. And she tells you, you've had no problem taking from another man before. Why not tonight? She leads you into some sort of storage closet and has her way with you. And you think to yourself, for one last night, she's mine. For one last night, we can be together and not think about a damn thing. And I could revel in this moment. Until she bites your fucking throat out and you bleed to death and turns you into a goddamn vampire. And at this point, I have to invite our little Miss to the creep corner. I swear to frickin' God, there are so many moments in this movie. It's a slow creep for me on everything. There's even creepy like social implications to it with the dancing, the river dancing outside. Imagine the adversity of you knowing what you're up against on multiple fronts. Everyone that was in that club ran out, got themselves murdered, and at that point, there's nothing you could do. But the most creeptastic moment that I could think about is when you think you're having an intimate moment. You know there's something a little shady going on, but you think, "Oh yeah, it's a sweet intimate moment." And I swear to God, she just looks up, blood running down her face, beautiful gown ruined, just says, "You're all going to die tonight." Gets up and runs out the fucking door. So I'm giving her the creep corner award.
Nice. She deserves it. She deserves it. Not only she's creepy, she was sexy. So
Yeah.
she double deserves it.
Yeah,
Double.
100%.
I love that. I love that. It was definitely one of the creepiest moments of the movie. Gotta be honest. Creepy. You know, and thank you for that, Sabrina. Thank you. And before we all end and have a smoke, and you know, we have to journey because we have a guest tonight, and we have to journey into their mindset. We have to journey into their room, and we have to go to Mr. A-Town's classroom.
Welcome to Mr. A-Town's classroom. Last season session.
Sit down and shut up!
Welcome to Mr. A-Town's classroom. Last season session. The letter A stands for Alex, and Alex is our teacher. Now sit the fuck down and shut up.
Oh, I like that. I like that. It's different.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little different. I like it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to class. Now you guys are lucky tonight because you know normally Mr. Big Money Eddie is the teacher that gets to give the lesson, but I decided to come in and do a little co-teaching with Mr. Eddie, Mr. Big Money. You don't mind, do you?
Oh no, don't worry. Go ahead.
Not at all. All right. I know we're gonna get into some deep lessons. So again, with this film, yes, we have the horror element, but again, these are one of those films where the horror, like we mentioned all night today, has been used for an allegory for many different things. So today's lesson is all about conformity and assimilation. How we all seek to belong, to seek that family. All the characters in this film look to belong with somebody, whether it's the Smokestack twins. They've always had each other growing up with their lives of being the abusive father, taken in by Mary's mom, raised from birth, but they always had each other, trying to find fame and fortune in the outside world. And they even said it themselves. One of the reasons why they came back, because the illusion of what the North was at the time was, oh my goodness, everyone's free, everyone's equal. And Stat makes a point to say, don't believe everything you hear. All right. The only difference between the South and up North is that the South, it's the devil you know. So they came back home to find family, and everyone's motivation was looking for that family, whether it was them trying to have a juke joint, having like all their people come have a good time. Yes, they were going to try to make money, but they knew it was based on the sense of family, because the first thing they did when they came back was visit family. Smoke went to visit his wife in terms of what she was going on with their baby and things. Even Annie, who could have left, her ass could have got on that train and been alive and just kept it moving. But the moment she saw Stack, she remembered family in a very sexy way, as Mr. Brina has pointed out, which again, that line lives in my head rent free. Damn. Good luck, Josh Allen. But yeah, but just that seeking of family, again, with the use of music. So it's to say that you also have to be careful, because in terms of searching for that family, you can find the kind of family you don't want. And you always have to be mindful of that, of no matter what you're going through and what's happening, because there are people that knows what you're looking for and can use it against you. Remy knew that everyone longed for that closeness. He wanted that, and he tried to use that against everyone else in the film as a way to try to convert them, because he knew that the tools of what family can bring, the power of family, the power of community, the power of the group. Even the Grand Wizard and the KK and his people, they knew that when they go, again, the idea was when they went to this one, there'd be a bunch of people hanging around, having a good night, enjoying themselves. And they preyed on that sense of community to commit their heinous acts that they planned to create. So always be wary that yes, In Search of Family is good and all, but always keep your head on a swivel and to watch out for the dangers, the pratfalls that come with searching for that belonging. And if it's not found in the right place, it can lead to your demise, or even worse, living a life that's empty, as Stack has basically admitted. Even though he has the woman of his dreams, he's lived almost 80 years with her, but it's never the same. You have everything you want, but it's not with who you want it with and how you want it with. So that's Mr. A-Town's lesson for today. There it is.
Powerful.
Oh, very good.
That is powerful. I love that. Thank you for your insights, Mr. A-Town Ryan. And for blessing us today with your presence. Yes. But always at the end of our lesson, our class, we have to have a lesson learned. And for that, we have lessons from a cigarette smoking man.
Mijo, listen close, aquí está la verdad. If your house says get out, don't be living with that. Dancing with demons, pero con ritmo. Eddie drops wisdom with every humo. Lessons from a cigarette smoking man with a puff and a
Hey, kid, let's light up. Fucking big girls from behind while standing is not as comfortable as Michael B. Jordan made it out to be. Spitting in the mouth is a loving way to show affection to your significant other. Also, biting your significant other until they bleed to death can be a deep way of showing affection. If you're going to go with a married woman, eat her pussy out. This avoids any stress of unwanted pregnancies, or biting your neck, or necrophilia. Necrophilia is also a loving way to show affection for your significant other. Also, when writing, avoid using allegories. The one-to-one comparison can get tiresome and makes your work sometimes derivative. Aim for metaphors. They usually have applicability and makes your work timeless. Till next time. Here's looking at you, kid.
Oh my God!
Wow.
God damn it, man! What
You're
the
right,
fuck?
You just
Where's the lie?
one upping yourself. That is the most important lesson to sinners right there.
Where's the
You know
lie?
what? Here's the thing. Here's the thing. That was my exact thoughts during that scene. That's why I'm pissed off. Because when they were doing it, I'm like, that don't seem structurally sound based on the angle of which I'm like, there's no way he was hitting, like, you motherfucker.
No, he's hitting something. He's just not hitting what you think he's hitting.
Yeah, like I said the same. I'm watching the scene and I'm like, she's not up high enough to get the good. Like, no,
It's true.
it don't matter how
got some
long
kind
it
of
is. Fuck
slit.
him. Ain't no way. Like this. Like you got to spread. He ain't spread.
Yeah.
The thing didn't go up. I had the exact same thought. Fuck you, Eddie.
This is why we get lessons from a cigarette smoking man. I
Oh,
gotta be honest
God, that was
because
funny.
he puts everything in the light. There's no lies.
Oh shit.
Oh,
There's no lies. No pelo a tu lengua.
Oh, I
No
wasn't
hay
ready.
pelo en la lengua. Eso es así.
I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready.
That was fantastic.
Oh,
Thank you very
shit.
much. But everyone, the bell's about to ring, and we have broke it down. We have gave you some prescriptions. We've even enlightened some people on how great Michael B. Jordan is and will continue to be. And we also found out and learned that it's very hard fucking big girl from behind standing. So with that being said, before the bell rings, I want to go around the room and I want everyone to have their final thoughts on Sinner, and I want you to sign out and most importantly, tell us if you give Sinners a second round. All right. And a second round, for everyone who doesn't know, means that you would watch it again or you would recommend it to somebody to watch and continue to watch. So I'm going to start out with Florida's favorite creep, Sabrina Ace.
All right, guys. Florida's favorite creep. Absolutely. I would give this a second round. I've already told multiple people that they need to go watch it so I can get their opinions too. I'll probably go watch it again. Maybe even in the theaters again. I'll give them my money. But my main takeaway, like we can dive into this movie for hours and hours and hours. There's so much to say and so much to bring up. But ultimately, if you get Michael B. Jordan and Billy Zane in a movie together, I'm just gonna have an aneurysm. And I want to.
Nice.
But stay creepy,
Well,
everyone.
there you go. Sabrina's giving it a second round and stay creepy. Billy Zane, where are you? Let's go to our guest, Mr. A Town Ryan. First of all, thank you for coming to
Yes,
class
yes.
tonight. I
Yes.
know you were dying to get on and talk Sinners, and I hope you've done it justice. We've done it justice for you. Yes, would you give it a second round and say bye to the people?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, I've given it a second. I'm trying to watch it in the 70 millimeter, but every theater up here is booked until like next week.
Yo, I
So
was
although,
looking, and yeah,
like, just real
every
quick,
day.
just talking about just outside, just the movie itself, but again, the impact of how much it's making in terms for a horror film. That it had one of the lowest second week drops ever, and it's still
Yep.
making money. And the fact that there's still bookings way in advance, that means like for another maybe 2 or 3 weeks, it's going to continue to make money. And just talking about the movie itself, even when we talked about all of these themes, and I alluded it to a little bit, I didn't go too much. Really think about the fact that all these things was happening with these characters, all of them having a good time, all of their stories going on. And even if the vampires never showed up, the real tragedy, also you can look at them based on real reality of the time, they were all doomed from the start. And I think that's what really like resonates me as I leave this movie. No matter what, all the happiness they were having, like they really didn't know, but really think of what was from the moment those two decided to do this and like plan. And even when we watch it and like working with the guy and like what their dreams were to be, that it would have still ended in tragedy is what I think is the true horror of this movie, because it's based on that realism that there were times, especially in real time, where things probably worked out just like that, where they weren't vampires. Again, they all died, but you would almost say, like, again, hate to say it, almost like the Titan, where the moment that ship took off, people were doomed. And that's just the one thing I want to leave with the audience. Like, again, that's seen it. Really think about that part. But yeah. And again, A-Town signing off. And yes, definitely giving it the second round.
Yeah, man, for sure. I mean, for everyone who wants to know, the budget of this movie was 90 to 100 million. It's already made 161.1 million dollars. And it has no sign of slowing down. So kudos to that. I'm going with Big Money Eddie.
So, Big Money Eddie, Grand Wizard of Horror, the cigarette smoking man himself, telling you not to take Michael B. Jordan's advice and fuck ladies like that. That's not how physics works. Besides that, I actually would give this movie a second round. Like I said, I have issues with the movie, but that doesn't mean that the movie shouldn't be watched or should be studied in more detail. Because again, my issue is with the M word, the masterpiece, the magnum opus word that some people are throwing out. But just as a movie, it's a fun experience, and it's just worth watching a couple of times. Just saying.
Amazing. Yeah, there's so many layers to this onion. And I'm glad because in the beginning of this, you had a mixed opinion, and I know your opinions are very like strong and heartfelt. But I'm just glad that you will give this movie a second round and you will tell people to go watch it, because I feel like whether we feel it's a masterpiece or not, it's definitely a movie that needs to be watched. Mr. Oh So Smooth movie guy, baby.
Yeah.
Speak the truth.
Let me tell you right now. Okay. There's 2 Michael B. Jordans in this movie, which means you got to give it 2 second rounds. Okay. You got to give it multiple rounds. I've already given it second rounds. I've already given way more than I probably thought I was going to be completely honest with you, because at first I wasn't sure if I was going to like this movie, even though, yes, Michael B. Jordan is in the movie. I was worried because it was a vampire movie. I was afraid about that. I wasn't sure. Oh, Alex disappeared. I wasn't sure how well it was going to be done. Not hating on Coogler or anything, but it's a different way to do things. Okay. Vampires are, if you fuck that up, you could truly fuck it up. But they didn't.
Yep.
I really enjoyed this movie. And as I said in the beginning, I believe that there are 2 things I would change. But I am not going to tell you that right now. I need you to go ahead and go to our social media platform at Night School Horror. You can check me out, Movie Guy Baby, and I'm going to tell you what I would change. Because I think a lot of people may disagree with it, but my mindset, of course, is usually different than most people of how I watch movies and how I analyze movies. But this movie needs to be watched multiple times. And praise my man, Michael B. Jordan. Keep it up, guy. I hope I get to meet him one day and just tell him how much he deserves everything and how much Mr. A-Town hated him, but now he loves him.
Give him my
And I'm
ring.
the movie guy, baby. And I'll see you next week.
Yeah, man. Thank you for that. And yes, Mr. Smooth Effect. Yeah, I know the two things you change, and honestly, I'm with you with definitely one of them, and it will be a definitely different movie, but also full circle moment. And I'm not gonna cheat on it now and tell everybody. You have to go on our socials and hear it out. And if you're very opinionated, definitely leave a comment and we'll discuss it in our socials. Like, enroll, subscribe, and definitely get that take. Because if we say it right now, we're going for another hour. So with that being said, Sinners. I mean, there's a lot I could keep saying about it, but I feel, in my opinion, yes, it is a vampire movie, but is it really? You know, it really was a warning. I feel, right. It if you that you have to gatekeep certain things in your life, right, and everybody doesn't get access to it, you know, and everybody doesn't get access to you because, as you know, they can definitely drain us and get us all caught up, you know. And I feel like that amongst everything else with music and how powerful it can be, whether you're using it for good or bad, it's definitely something that has been a part of us since the beginning and it will be long after we're gone. And Mr. Coogler, you have done it again and you've created an amazing movie with an amazing cast and amazing music and directed beautifully. And for that, I thank you. And absolutely will give it a second round. Cannot wait to watch it again. I may even go into the movie theaters because I don't know if I can wait to digital. And seeing it on other platforms just doesn't really do as justice as it should. But with that being said, I had such an amazing time watching this movie, breaking it down with my peoples in school, in Night School Horror. If you love what you're listening to, please, again, like, subscribe, and roll, and be a part of the conversation. Be a part of Night School Horror. I am Mr. Malave, aka Matthew Malave. And until next time, the bell's about to ring, and stay spooky. And we are all sinners. It's how we choose to go about it and redeem ourselves. Peace.